Attention duelists. It is I, person making this video, Phoenix. And it's you, the person watching. As you can see from this lovely cast of clowns over here on the right, there's some new accessories in the shop, but more importantly, in the shop, there's a new selection pack. Let's crack on into this bad boy. See what we get. Not a great first pack. They put armed dragon stuff in here. That's weird. Anyway, new card, Manticore Smashing, level 6. During your main phase, you can add one Fissure or Smashing Ground from your deck to your hand. If this card's in your graveyard, you can banish Fissure or Smashing Ground from your hand or graveyard to special summon this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. Laughing Puffin, level 4. If a face-up spell trap is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can tribute one Winged Beast monster, then target one face-up spell trap on the field, return that face-up card to the hand, but for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with the same name that card had once it returned to the hand. This is a quick effect if all monsters you control are Winged Beast monsters, minimum of 1. You can only use each effect of Laughing Puffin once per turn. I don't know what that's supposed to really do. And then there's Adularia of the June Moon, level 5. If you control a a face-up card in the spell and trap zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Adularia of the June Moon once per turn this way. Gain 600 attack and defense for each face-up spell trap on the field. You can send 2 face-up cards from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard. Send 1 level 4 or lower monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Adularia of the June Moon once per turn. So it's got a Foolish Burial effect for a level 4 or lower. It's special summon itself. I think the interesting part of this card is it says control face up card in the spell and trap zone, not a face up spell or trap. Versus its other effect that says for each face up spell trap on the field. So maybe it works with pendulum monsters or crystal beasts. Don't know. Weird. I feel like this is a weird pack. Gigantic Thundercross. Normal trap. Target a number of monsters on the field and or in the graveyards equal to the difference between your banished cards and your opponent's. Banish them. Then, your opponent can special summon one monster from their deck. You can only activate Gigantic Thundercross once per turn. So it is banishing based on your banished, targeting, unfortunately, and then your opponent gets one card of their choice. Dangerous, don't think it's good. Silent Wolf Kalupo is a level 4 Beast Warrior. If this card is normal or special summoned, equip the top card of your deck to this card as a face-down equip spell that gives it 500 attack. During the end phase, your opponent calls the original type, monster, spell, or trap, of that equipped card equipped to this card by its effect. If they call it right, send this card to the graveyard. If they call it wrong, discard one card at random from your opponent's hand, and if you do, return this card to the hand. The only effect of Silent Wolf Kalupo once per turn. I'm going to call this bad. Because best case scenario, you rip a card out of your opponent's hand. Worst case scenario, you've wasted this card and whatever was on the top of your deck. All right, got some rares. Bestial Baldrake, level 6 dragon. You can target one light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon this monster from your hand. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. If your opponent special summons a Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and or Link monster, so everything that isn't just a main deck monster, other than Ritual, that's in the main deck. You contribute one other light or dark monster, target one of the special monsters, and banish it. You can only use each effect of Bestial Baldrake once per turn. I mean, worst case scenario, it's a free body and a big body. It's got Dark Magician stats. Branded Blast, Branded Beast, continuous trap. Once per turn during the main phase, if you control a bestial monster, you contribute one dragon monster, then target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. During the end phase, you can target one branded continuous spell trap in your graveyard, place it face up on your field. You can only use this effect of Branded Beast once per turn. I'm pretty sure Branded is a fairly tight engine at this point. I don't think Branded Beast is going to find a place in it. Abyss Actors, Dress Rehearsal. At the start of your main phase 1, add one Abyss Actor card and one Abyss Script spell from your deck to your hand. For the rest of the turn after this card resolved, you cannot pendulum summon monsters except for Abyss Actor monsters. Neat. Love Abyss Actors. Looking forward to doing stuff with them. I say stuff, not winning. They're still Abyss Actors. There's another Puffin. Wish Dragon. Level 2 Light Dragon. You contribute this card to special summon 2 dragon tokens, both at level 1, and you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except level 5 or higher dragon monsters. You can only use this effect of Wish Dragon once per turn. I'm going to call it bad. Excuse me. Got some pollen all up in my bits, making me sneeze. Another Delara, another Branded Beast. Yeah, this is a real bummer of a pack. Light of the Branded. Quick play spell. Target one fusion monster on the field or in either graveyard. Return it to the extra deck. Then you can special summon one Fall of Albaz from your graveyard to your field and one monster from your opponent's graveyard to their field. You can only activate one Light of the Branded per turn. It's fusion monster removal, which we're still in tier format, so that's something. Protection of the Elements. Counter trap. When a spell or trap is activated, banish one face-up elemental hero monster you control until the end phase. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. If you control elemental hero Terra Firma, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one of your elemental hero monsters that is banished or in your hand or graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only use this effect of Protection of the Elements once per turn. This card is bad immediately on the basis of it involving Terra Firma. Tri-Brigade Showdown. Continuous spell. If a beast, beast warrior, or winged beast is special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can target one of your banished Tri-Brigade monsters, add it to your hand. After damage calculation, if your Tri-Brigade monster battled an opponent's monster, you can return the opponent's monster to the hand. You can only use each effect of Tri-Brigade Showdown once per turn. I don't play Tri-Brigade, and no one really plays Tri-Brigade since we're not in this game Master Duel's release anymore. I'm going to say it's not going to show up. Bright Double Cross. Normal trap. Target a monster on the field or in either graveyard, then activate one of these appropriate effects. Attach the targeted monster to one rank 2 monster you control's material. Place the targeted monster your opponent controls in your zone your link 2 monster points to and take control of it. Special summon the targeted monster from either graveyard to your zone your link 2 monster points to. You can only activate one Sprite Double Cross per turn. I'm going to say this one is a neat bit of interruption, especially for Sprite, obviously. It is removal or taking control or summoning back. Neat. Don't know if it has a place, but neat. More Thundercross. Abyss Script. Dramatic Story. Normal spell. Target one Abyss Actor Pendulum monster you control. Special summon one Abyss Actor monster from your deck with a different name, and place the targeted monster in your Pendulum zone, or destroy it. If this set card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, and you have a face-up Abyss Actor Pendulum monster in your extra deck, you can return up to 2 cards on the field to the hand. You can only activate one Abyss Script Dramatic Story per turn. It's neat. Potentially bounce 2, non-targeting bounce 2, which is Madolche removal, which is the best removal. A little bit tricky to pull off if your opponent knows they're playing against Abyss. but we'll see how it goes. Branded Befallen. Continuous Trap. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets one bestial monster you control and no other cards, or when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to the activation of your bestial monster effect, target one light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, negate the activated effect. Neat. Sort of an ongoing threat of banish / negation. Abyss Actor, Liberty Dramatist. Pendulum Monster, Pendulum Effect. When a monster declares an attack, you can discard one card, special summon this card to your opponent's field. You can only use this effect of Abyss Actor Liberty Dramatist once per turn. Now, its monster effect. If this card is special summoned from the Pendulum Zone, the owner of this card reveals 3 Abyss script spells from their deck. The opponent randomly picks one for this card's owner to set on the field, but it is destroyed during the end phase. Also, shuffle the rest into the deck. If this card is destroyed, you can shuffle one Abyss script spell from your graveyard into the deck. You can only activate each effective Abyss Actor Liberty Dramatist once per turn. So, her purpose is to be set in the Pendulum Zone, give her to the opponent. This will then trigger the effect to let you set your own Abyss script from one of 3, and then during the end phase, it will be destroyed, technically by your opponent's effect, because it is Liberty Dramatist. And when you destroy Liberty Dramatist, you also get the effect of the shuffling a script back. So she is a nice little bit of script utility. And then we have Dogmatica Matrix, Continuous Spell. When this card is activated, you can add one Dogmatica Ritual monster or one Dogmatica Ritual spell from deck to hand. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, you can add one Dogmatica card from deck to hand. Once per turn, if you control a Dogmatica Ritual monster, you can look at either player's extra deck, send one monster from it to the graveyard. You can not only activate one Dogmatica Matrix once per turn. This could potentially be pretty good turn 1, ripping an important starter extra deck monster out of your opponent's deck. This pack is definitely a weird one. Only got 4 supers from that tenor. That's a bummer. Now we're getting some shiny. Tally-ho, Springans! Quick play spell. When you activate this card, you can also detach up to 3 materials from a monster you control, add 1 Springans monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if you detach any material at activation, you can special summon that many Springan monsters from your hand or graveyard. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Xyz monster on the field, detach a material from it, and if you do, add this card to your hand. You can only use one Tally-ho, Springans, effect per turn, and only once that turn. So, even on nothing, it's still a Rhoda for Springans, and no one plays Springans, so I'm going to call it bad. Decisive Battle of Golgonda. Continuous spell. This card's name becomes Great Sand Sea Gold Golgonda while in the field or in the graveyard. Once per turn, if a card you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send a fusion monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz as material from your extra deck to the graveyard instead. During the end phase, if you have Fallen of Albaz on your field or in your graveyard, you can special summon a Springans monster from your hand or deck. You only use the effective Decisive Battle of Golgonda once per turn. I'm going to call this one bad because Fallen of Albaz does not fit into Springans decks, and I doubt you're running a Springans as a one of with Golgonda. Dogmatica Alba Zoa. Level 12 Ritual Monster. Cannot be special summoned except by Dogmatic Calamity or another Dogmatica card effect. Dogmatica monsters you control are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Link monsters. Alright, that's good. During your main phase, you can make your opponent choose and apply one of these effects. You and these effects means that opponent. For every 2 cards in opponent's extra deck, send 1 card from their hand or extra deck to the graveyard. So on 15, that's 7. So they either pitch their entire hand or lose 7 cards from their extra deck. Return all fusion, synchro, Xyz, and link monsters the opponent controls to the extra deck. You can only use the effect of Dogmatica Albazoa once per turn. This is neat. I like that it provides the protection for Dogmatic cards against the extra deck, which is good for being anti-tier right now. We'll have to see how it does. Also, it's got a fat body, 4K by 4K. Nothing from that pack. Bestial Druisworm. That's a weird word. Level 6 Dark Dragon. You can target one light or dark monster in either graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special this card from your hand. So we're just going to call that the Bestial effect going forward. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. Alright, so that whole 2 sentences is the Bestial effect. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, target one special summon monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Bestial Druisworm once per turn. Neat. Sending removal. Armed Neos. Level 10. Fusion monster. Fusion of Elemental Neos and 1 Armed Dragon monster. Must be fusion summoned. If this card is special summoned, you can choose 1 dragon monster in your graveyard and destroy all monsters your opponent controls with an equal or lower level than it. When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can make this card gain the following effect. During the main phase, quick effect, tribute this card, special summon 1 Elemental Hero fusion monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Bad. I cannot imagine ever running Elemental Heroes with Armed Dragons in there and hoping to be reliable to get this out. Neo's Fusion is the only reliable way you could get this thing out there. And there's a better target in Rainbow Neos. Bad. Get to her in a second. Fierce Tiger Mongu. Level 4 Beast. All other monsters on the field lose 500 attack. Once per turn during the main phase, you can destroy all monsters on the field with less attack than this card. Yeah, I'd rather just run King Tiger Wangu. But the more important bit, Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous. Level 4 Spellcaster Tuner. If you control Fallen of Albaz or it's in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. During the main phase, quick effect, you can fusion summon 1 level 8 or higher fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to the graveyard this turn, you can add this card from your graveyard to the hand. You can only use each effect of Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous once per turn. So she is still the Ecclesia special summoner and support. Neat. The Bestial Albalos. Level 12 Dragon. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from hand or graveyard by attributing 2 bestial monsters. While this card is summoned this way in the monster zone, negate the effects of all face-up ritual, fusion, synchro, Xyz, and link monsters on the field. If this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can banish all face-down cards in the extra decks face up until your opponent's end phase. That's a tricky one. It negates the effects of all those special summon monsters on both fields. So it doesn't quite fit into the Dogmatica thing of just bumming out your opponent. It's weird. Another Mongoose. Nothing from that pack. Show me something good. Bestial Magnamut. Magnamut. Level 6, Bestial Effect. If this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect during the end phase of this turn. Add a dragon monster from your deck to your hand, except Bestial Magnamut. You can only use each effect of Bestial Magnamut once per turn. Neat. The Bestials are fairly straightforward in a way I really appreciate. Special summon, do thing. Dogmaticaturgy. Normal trap. Ritual summon one Dogmatica ritual monster from your hand or deck by attributing Dogmatic monsters or ritual fusion or synchro monsters from your field whose total levels equal the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, target 2 Dogmatica monsters with different levels in your graveyard, add one to the hand, and place the other on the bottom of your deck. You can only use one Dogmaticaturgy effect per turn and only once that turn. Neat little bit of playing on your opponent's turn. Nothing we haven't seen out of that one. That's not new. Another Bestial Baldrake. Nothing. Tally Ho and Tally Ho. That's a playset. Although I'm never going to play it. Probably. Unless Spring Games get really ripped. That's the third Baldrake. That's the fourth one. And this is new, at least to me. Mariologic Aggregator. Level 9 Xyz. Cybers. Requiring 2 or more level 9 monsters. If this card's Xyz summoned, you can send one monster from the extra deck to the graveyard. You can target monsters in your graveyard up to the number of materials this card has. Detach materials from this card equal to the number of those monsters in the graveyard. And if you do, attach those targets to this card as material. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up card on the field, negate its effects until the end of this turn. You can only use the effect of Mariologic Aggregator once per turn. I'm going to call it bad. Bad, and I don't see the purpose of it. Although it's a Cyber 6Z's monster, which I think that's pretty rare. All right, show me something good. That's another Tally Ho. That's shiny. So's that. Grenguignol the Dusk Dragon. Level 8. Fusion. It's actually a spellcaster. Recurring a fusion of Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous and a light or dark monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can send one level 6 or higher light or dark monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. If a monster is special summoned by your opponent's activated monster's effect, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from the field or graveyard, special summon one Dogmatica monster from your deck or a Despia monster from your extra deck. You can only use each effect of Grenguignol the Dusk Dragon once per turn. Weird. Rindbrum the Striking Dragon. And I really wish I could zoom in more on the art there to get the view that I know is Springan's Kit wearing aviators piloting this thing. Fusion monster requiring Fallen of Albaz, and 1 Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster. When a fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link monster's effect is activated, quick effect. You can negate that effect, then you can return 1 monster from the field to the hand. During your opponent's turn, while this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target a Fallen of Albaz in your graveyard, special summon either that monster or this card, and banish the other. You can only use each effect of Rindbrum, the Striking Dragon, once per turn. So it's a monster negation and bounce, non-targeting. And it is a potential resummon of Albaz, which is board removal, or a resummon of Rindbrum, which is more bounce. And it is hard once per turn. Name in quotations once per turn. Oh, now we're seeing the shiny packs. Another branded Befallen. Nothing out of that one. Another Albalos. Albalos. Los Albos. Alright. This should be something good. Another Rindbrum. Don't know if you'd ever actually need more than one of those. The Albaz extra deck is already pretty packed. Another Grand Guignol. And wake up your elemental hero. That's hitting Master Duel earlier than I was expecting. Level 10 fusion requiring an elemental hero fusion monster and 1 or more warrior monsters. Must be fusion summoned, gains 300 attack for each material used for its summon. Can make a number of attacks on monsters each battle phase up to the number of fusion monsters used as material for its summon. After damage calc, if this card battled a monster, destroy the monster if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. So the Flamewing Man effect. If this fusion summon card is destroyed, special summon 1 warrior monster from your hand or deck. It's neat, but like I said with Albaz, the Elemental Hero extra deck is already pretty full up. Third Rindbrum. And Abyss Actor Super Producer. Link 2, requiring 2 monsters, including a Fiend. During the main phase, quick effect. You can target 1 face-up card you control, destroy it, then apply one of these effects. Place 1 Abyss Playhouse Fantastic Theater from your deck face-up in the field zone. Place 1 Abyss Actor Pendulum Monster from your deck in your Pendulum zone. You can only use this effect of Abyss Actor Super Producer once per turn. I love it. I love Abyss Actors, good or not. They are my special little freaks. Fourth Rindbrum. And another Blazing Cartesia. Another Drew Swarm. And Merrymaker. Did not really get that much new out of that one. Do 2 more tenors. The Baldrake. Nothing. Bestial Saronir. Level 6, Bestial Effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Bestial Monster or branded spell trap from deck to the graveyard, except Bestial Saronir. You can only use its effect once per turn. So it's a Foolish Burial. Nothing out of that. Nothing there. Nope. Big whiff. Another dress rehearsal. Another dress rehearsal. Another Baldrake. And the Bestial Lubellion. Level 8 dragon cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by attributing one level 6 or higher dark dragon monster. You can only special summon the Bestial Lubellion once per turn this way. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to add a bestial monster from your deck to your hand, except the Bestial Lubellion. During the main phase, you can place a branded continuous spell trap from your deck face up on the field. You can only use each effect of the Bestial Lubellion once per turn. Neat. I'm gonna have to wait and see how these bestials fit into the branded playstyle. Another Dogmatica Matrix. All right, last tenor. Actually, I'm just gonna hit skip on this and see what's new. Absolutely nothing. Got more Magnamuts, which those are gonna be dust because I think that's coming out limited to one, and a couple of supers I didn't need. Let's look at this and see what I didn't get. There's Sprite Sprind. Link 2, requiring 2 monsters, including a level, rank, or Link 2 monster. Cannot be used as Link material the turn it's Link summoned. You can only use one of the following effects of Sprite Sprind per turn, and only once that turn. If this card is Link summoned, you can send a level 2 monster from your deck to the graveyard. If another monster is special summoned while this card is on the field, except during the damage step, you can attach a material from an Xyz monster, that target one monster in the field, and return it to the hand. Nice way to do sprite things. Move some frogs around. Tribrigade Arms Bucephalus 2 is a Link 5 requiring 3 or more Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monsters. Cannot be special from the extra deck unless you have 3 or more Tribrigade spell and traps in your graveyard. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you special summon a monster. When a monster declares an attack, you can banish this card and banish all cards your opponent controls. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Beast Warrior, Wing Beast, or Beast monster from your extract to the graveyard. You can only use the effect of Tribrigade Arms Bucephalus 2 once per turn. It's definitely a stronger going second card, which means it's a weaker card. There's Gigantic Champion Sargass. It's a Xyz monster, rank 8, requiring 2 or more level 8s. Once per turn, you can also Xyz summon Gigantic Champion Sargass by using a Springans Xyz monster you control, transferring its material to this card. While this card has material, you can add a Springans or Therian card from your deck to the hand. If material is detached from a monster on the field, you can target one card on the field, destroy it, or return it to the hand. You can only use each effect of Gigantic Champion Sargass once per turn. That's kind of neat. Garura, Wings of Resonant Life. It's a fusion monster requiring 2 monsters with the same type and attribute, but different names. Any battle damage your opponent takes from battles involving this card is doubled. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. It is super poly purpose. That's not new. That's actually old. There's Wallow, founder of the Drudge Dragons. Rank 6 Xyz monster. Monster you control gain 100 attack and defense for each card in your opponent's graveyard. You can target one card in your opponent's graveyard, detach one or two materials from this card, then activate the appropriate effect. Either return it to the deck, and this is a quick effect by the way, return it to the deck, or if the target's a monster and you attach two materials, special summon it face up or in face down defense position on your field. If it is not, set it on your field. You can only use each effect once per turn. There's a super I didn't get. Kitty Tail, Mystical Beast of the Forest. It's a level 2 beast. If it's normal or special summoned, you can target a beast, beast warrior, or winged beast, insect, or plant monster in your graveyard. Send a monster from your deck to the graveyard with the same original type as that monster. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can add a beast, beast warrior, winged beast, insect, or plant monster from your deck to the hand, except Kitty Tail, Mystical Beast of the Forest. You can only use each effect once per turn. There's Branded Regained, continuous spell. If a light or dark monster is banished, you can target one of those monsters, place that monster on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw a card. You can only use effective Branded Regained once per turn. Once per turn, for your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can target a bestial monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use effect once per chain. And I do believe that is all the new stuff. Yeah, that's Climax of Showdown. And that's going to be the end of this pack opening stream. Good luck to all of you in your pack openings. Bye.